So the Mass Effect trailer came out about 2 weeks ago at this stage, and there's a lot of stuff online that I've read, a lot of speculation, a lot of wish listing, and a lot of headcanon. And I am no different, so I really want to kind of give you my perspective and my take on everything and what I wanted to see, because I myself actually had a storyline in my head as well, and that storyline came to be in about 2014 or something like that, way before Mass Effect Andromeda was a thing. Now, in my storyline, I retconned the entire third Mass Effect because I didn't like it at all, so here we go. So, I was super excited to see Liara as an older Asari, because Asari can live over 1,000 years old, so here, she could very well be 700 plus years old. Now, the reason why I was excited for that is because in my personal headcanon, that storyline, she was old as well. Now let me start from the beginning. The Normandy was picked up from whatever planet it was laying on and put in a storage facility. Fixed up, they could never get it back online for some odd reason, but they could still display it so people could go towards it and see it because it shows the heritage as kind of like a memorial for the struggle against the Reapers. Now, this is way ahead in the future. We're talking 600-700 years in the future, and you are a custodian. That's a player character as a custodian. You can have a bunch of backgrounds. You can have a military background. You can have a scholar background. But any of that stuff doesn't really matter. You're a custodian. You're a caretaker. You're on that ship. You're answering questions to people. You are telling people about the history. You're researching the history as well. So everything is fine, everything is dandy. You're walking around that ship month in, month out. Nothing really changes until the ship suddenly turns on. And everyone remembers that navigation system. So there's kind of like this red blip. And it says, Reaper signature detected. So, of course, the custodian goes, okay, well, I know about this because I've lived it for so long. I'm going to have to take this to higher up. So he goes to brass, he goes to the military. He says, okay, well, I got these coordinates right here. The ship turned on, and it showed a Reaper signature detected. So brass or military looks at it, goes, well, dude, that ship's so old. I don't know what you've seen. You're an idiot for even thinking that. You're probably just making it up. But you know what? We'll humor you. We'll check it out. So they check out the data. They check the quadrant, because of course when you scan something it takes a while for all the data to come back, so they pull all the data from that quadrant of the galaxy and nothing comes back. So essentially that's it, you're out of options. So the custodian goes back to the ship and say, I don't know what the hell just happened, man. You show me this and now there's nothing going on. If you just stayed on, I could have told the people to come here, look at it, and then everything would be fine. But no, you didn't do that. So now I'm here not being able to do anything. So he ends up going to the pilot seat where Joker used to sit, and he sits down and he goes, man, I don't know what's going on here. I'm at a loss, because I know about the history. I am afraid of what's coming, but no one wants to listen to me. And then the ship turns back on again. And it's Edie. And again, I retconned the ending. So Edie is very much alive. Come on, I didn't like my destroy ending, which was my canon ending, that Edie was gone. No, we're not playing that game. I retconned everything, which means that Edie is very much alive in the ship. And Edie says, well, there is one person that I know that might be able to help us. But, of course, very far away. Now, that person is, of course, Liara. She would be the only one. Maybe the Krogan, maybe Rex would still be alive, for instance. That might be a possibility. Or Grunt, there we go. He might be still alive as well. But all the other people, like Shepard, his life expectancy is about 150, so he's gone. And the same goes for Garrus. He'd be gone too. So, the ship tells you, we have to go over here. This is a person that can help us. They can use their network to blanket everything and get everyone on board with this, because this is a real thing. This is not a joke. They are coming. Which is interesting because, of course, the military says, well, that ship's that old. The scanners on that is nowhere near what we can do now. So that's the reason why they kind of laughed him out of the office there. But anyway, I'm getting completely sidetracked. The ship tells him he needs to go there, and then the custodian goes, okay, well, fine, you want me to go there, but I ain't got no ship. The ship goes, well, you don't have a ship, you got me. And the custodian goes, well, I can't fly this ship by myself. And of course, Edie can fly the ship by herself. So she says, that's not a problem. I'm an artificial intelligence that can run this entire ship by myself. So the ship ends up powering on completely, lifting off out of that, and then blasting out of that hangar. And everyone around it goes like, what the heck just happened? I mean, this is a derelict ship. It shouldn't be able to do that. So the ship flies off, goes in the direction of the person. You meet the person, and of course it is Liara. Now, of course, in my headcanon, Liara and Shepard were a thing. So the child is very much alive, and also very much in the stage of her life that she would want to have a significant other. So there we go. First love interest right there. A descendant of Shepard, which I think is one of the coolest things ever. So that's kind of my storyline, my idea of where it needs to go, and then you can go on beyond that. Now, as far as the trailer goes, a lot of stuff happened. I looked at it more, I read a lot of stuff, and it really looks like that Mass Effect Andromeda is going to have an effect on Mass Effect 5. It is now officially also Mass Effect 4. It's not like a standalone thing anymore. It's actually Mass Effect 4. So it's part of the storyline. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent. I did not play through the entirety of Andromeda because about, I think, 20 hours in, I got kind of sick and tired of it. It was just too big, too wide. It wasn't too linear. You know, I want to have action. I don't want to have to drive a million miles to get to it. And that wasn't the case in the original Mass Effects because it was kind of more linear. It was just too much distance. So I really hope that they learned from that and they kind of condense it a little bit more in Mass Effect 5. But anyway, it is going to be part of it, so I'm going to have to play Mass Effect Andromeda completely. I think I got about halfway. I can't remember. I'm going to have to start completely from scratch because the only thing that I remember and remember fondly was that part where Liara spoke up. And that was like, I felt that. When I heard her voice, I felt that because as a character, I'm always inside the story when I play a good RPG. And that almost, I'm not going to say it brought me to tears because it wasn't quite that level, but I did get just a little bit emotional thinking about the original trilogy. So I really wonder what's going to happen, what is going to come up, and what kind of a news that we're going to get in the future about it. Because it's a bright future, I think. I think this is going to be freaking great. So, of course, we're going to have to talk about the release date. And I did some thinking about that as well. And I kind of put a timeline together to see how that would work out. Now, the first Mass Effect, they started work on that in 2004, right after Knights of the Old Republic 2. Which, you can kind of see that because Knights of the Old Republic was very similar to Mass Effect 1. That's why I love it so much, because the storytelling and the action and everything, it just felt super, super familiar. So that one started in 2004. They announced it in 2005, and it then was released in 2007. Then we got Mass Effect 2 in 2010, and Mass Effect 3 in 2012. So the reason why there is less space between 2 and 3 is because they knew that they were also going to make a third one, because the second one was a thing. And the reason why there was 3 years between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 is they had to realize that, hey, this thing is real, people love this, we need to make a second one. So that's why there was a time difference. Now, the time difference between Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda is easily explainable as well, because the third Mass Effect, the endings were so wide apart, they kind of wrote themselves in the corner. There's also no way, in my mind, that they can keep any choices from the previous trilogy. There's just no way that they can do that. And some people might be upset about that, but on the other hand, well, you could have killed everyone in Mass Effect 2, and then, including Shepard, and then in the third Mass Effect, Shepard is back alive. So other games do the same thing. I think Metro, for instance, you could freaking die in Metro 2, and then in the third Metro, you're back alive. So I think we're going to have to take everything with a grain of salt that happened in the third one. The way that they can fix it, I think, personally, is kind of do a prologue where you play through the ending of Mass Effect 3, and then you have a canon ending. You don't even have to play through it. They can just show it. So people are immediately know what happened, and they can immediately think, okay, this is not my ending, but I can deal with it. And a possible thing that they can do is actually maybe put that stuff out before the game comes out so people can kind of simmer, can kind of think, okay, man, oh, I don't really like this, but I'll deal with it because it is a next Mass Effect game. And I don't think you want to have that disappointment come out when you play the game. You want to know about that beforehand. Kind of like the Cyberpunk thing, where people were super excited to play it. They installed it on their original Xbox, and it ran like garbage. Which I don't have the problem because I'm on PC, but still, that is one of those things. I think people need to have all the information available before they buy a game, and then they can go into it. They already have the disappointment out of the way. They already have a realistic expectation of what's going to happen, so they don't get disappointed down the line. So when it comes down to the distance between Mass Effect 4 and Mass Effect 5, easily explainable too, because no one liked Mass Effect 4. Well, a lot of people did, but a lot of people don't. So it wasn't a success. So again, they were thinking, okay, what can we do? Is this IP shelved? Is it gone now? Did we destroy it, or can we bring it back? And yes, BioWare, you can 100% bring Mass Effect back. And the way you do that is by giving us a trailer like that. Just playing those heartstrings for the original trilogy. 100%. Anyway. So if I have to give my 2 cents on when this game is going to come out, I'm going to look at the first game and the fourth game, because both games were kind of first outings. They had to do a ton of work to get that done because the resources, the assets just weren't there. For Mass Effect 4, there's a little bit more assets, but they did change, of course, engines, because Mass Effect 4 was on Frostbite and the original trilogy was Unreal. So there's definitely some time spent trying to get these assets that already existed and port them over to Mass Effect 4's engine, the Frostbite engine. And of course, I had to do a lot more work to get all those worlds together because it is completely new. I bet it's not similar at all, but I'm not a game developer, so I can't attest to that. I just think that if you go from one engine to the other, it's like going from Adobe Premiere to Sony Vegas or vice versa was what I did. It's a learning curve. You're going to take some time to make it yours. So the original game was 2 years and 4 months, and Mass Effect 3 was 1 year and 3 months. So that's a huge spread. Based on that news, and if you kind of take those two timelines, it looks like, because they announced it now, the earliest it could come out is March of 2022, and the latest it could come out is April of 2023. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, they got a lot of other games in between. They had a lot of games in between the original Mass Effect as well. Dragon Age played a game in between there, and a bunch of other games that I don't know about because I'm not interested in them. So it's not like Mass Effect is the only thing they're working on. I know now, though, that it is probably a very big priority. And when it comes down to like view counts in the trailers, Mass Effect far outweighs Dragon Age. So they should really focus on Mass Effect, even though my wife goes no. My wife loves Dragon Age way more than she does Mass Effect. But when she realized that Mass Effect 5 was going to be a continuation of the fourth, or at least the fourth is going to matter in the fifth, she's on board. So she doesn't really care either way. You either get Dragon Age first or Mass Effect. I buy both, but Mass Effect I usually finish, with the exception of Andromeda. But Dragon Age I never finish. I get like 10 or 20 hours in, and then I go, okay, well, I'm bored. I'm done with this. Why can't I have another Mass Effect? Because that's what I really want. So I would really like to know where your headcanon is, what you think, what you want in this game. And if you think I'm full of it with my headcanon, please tell me too, because this is the whole fun. before release, we can make up whatever we want because we don't have any information right there. So we go with the stuff that we like personally. So please put it in the comment section below. Let me know. As always, hashtag game for the sake of gaming. And I will see you guys on the flip side.